Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians, and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Good morning everyone and welcome to this COVID-19 response week on the Learn Live channel. The purpose of this week is to share an understanding of how COVID-19 has impacted on businesses. As a pledge team, we have maintained a careers information presence throughout Cheshire and Warrington. This specialist week will take that one step further by looking at industry within the current climate, sharing an insight into how businesses have been impacted and how they've been able to support the response to COVID-19 and the long-term implications for their business and their industry. Now, we have various businesses who will be answering the following questions. How has your business been affected? How have you been able to respond to the battle against COVID-19? And are there any long-term implications for your business? Now, next to the video player, you'll find the live chat facility, which is available to you 24/7 to ask any questions you have to our panel of experts from industry. On this first video, you'll hear about the amazing work that the NHS has been doing to look after our nation during COVID-19.
I'm Elaine Bradbury. I'm Workforce Development Lead at East Cheshire NHS Trust based in Macclesfield. So as I work for the NHS, the business has been massively affected by COVID-19. Obviously, when the pandemic started, we had, as a trust, had to look at different ways of working. We've had to consider safety of our patients and our staff. And this has been the same across all of the Cheshire and Warrington patch. So as I say, it's been how we can keep patients and staff safe. So we've had to change certain ward areas. So we've had to move patients into different areas. So for example, we've moved our children's ward so that we could use that area for COVID patients. We've had to change the configurations of some of the wards so that we can, in the first instances, it was so that we could anticipate the potential for the demand that we might need here at the Trust. We've had to look at other services as well. The Trust Board looked at services that we could move out to different areas, again, for patient safety reasons. So it's been that we've moved our maternity services to other hospitals in the locality just for the next few months as well. Obviously, we've had to take into consideration as well the fact that not only do we have poorly patients, we've also got staff who've needed to either shield because of underlying health conditions, or indeed that they may have been showing symptoms as well. So it's not just been how we've had to cope with a pandemic, it's how we've had to manage those staffing levels as well, and the impact that has had on wider services, as I say. We've looked at how we can sort of redeploy people as well. That's been something that has affected us. So it has been quite impactful, obviously, with being the health service. So our trust has been able to respond to the battle against COVID-19 by looking at different ways of working. So as I say, for example, we've looked at how we can redeploy staff. So that could be clinical staff who we have asked to move into different areas to support. So an example would be where we've reduced services for outpatients. We've asked staff there to move into different areas to still provide the same level of care and treatment, but just in a different setting. On my own personal experience, I primarily look after our apprentices, work experience students. We have supported interns, and we also have health cadets here at the Trust. So we've had to manage our workload with regards to students being pulled out of placements, obviously for their safety. So one of the things that we've been asked to do was to assist with the recruitment team. When the pandemic became more apparent and we went into lockdown, we found that we were having a huge number of people calling into the Trust who wanted to help, who wanted to offer their skills. That could have been, we had a wide variety of people. So for example, we had medical students who were no longer actually on their courses, but still got those skills and experience. We had people who'd recently retired from the nursing profession who wanted to return. We got people who were perhaps furloughed from private practice who were also interested, and they were contacting the Trust. It was quite overwhelming, actually. It was amazing the amount of people who did get in touch. So my team was actually asked to help the recruitment team to almost take those inquiries, and we were able to sort of set up a process where people would email their interest in. We would provide them with a detailed form so we could find out more information, and we were then doing that almost like first sift before we were able to liaise with the nurse bank and also the recruitment team to suggest people who were appropriate, and maybe we even already knew because they'd worked here before. So I think that one of the main things that has come out of our response to it has been communication. I think we've had, that has been absolutely key. We've had communication with the recruitment team and the nurse bank team, so that we've been able to get lots of people onto the nurse bank to support in areas where we perhaps got sickness. The other thing I would say as well is we've had excellent communication within the trust. So we've had, up until recently, daily podcasts from our chief executive, just keeping us up to date, really. So it's been, that communication has been absolutely key, and I think that's what's helped us to sort of continue to work through the pandemic. I think that's really helped us. I think the other thing that we found that's been really beneficial is the fact that we've got a lot of transferable skills within the organisation. So although people may work in a specific area, they have that excellent ability to go and either work somewhere else clinically, or, as I say, people like myself have got those skills that we can actually use within other departments and offer that support. So I think, you know, it's important to remember that although people like myself aren't actually frontline, we're helping in the background to provide that frontline staff, and I think that's something that we've all been really, really proud of over the last, you know, sort of few months now. Okay, so long-term implications for the business following this will be, I think, getting services back up and running where we were, because obviously as we've scaled things back, at some point we're going to have to pick that back up, but I think that's going to be very different. You know, we're talking about social distancing, so it's waiting areas. We're going to need to think about things, you know, it's all sorts of things that we're going to have to think about doing differently. I think from the work that I've been involved in, one of the things that we found has been extremely beneficial is Skype interviewing. I've interviewed many times over the years that I've been here, and actually the recruitment process that we were doing with the Nurse Bank, doing it via Skype, it was absolutely brilliant. You know, it was so much easier. We didn't have the stress of people trying to get here and parking. It was just a really, really smooth process. So I think that's potentially something that the recruitment team are looking to continue with. I think as well, sort of team meetings, you know, we're looking at different ways. Do we need to all get together in a room? Is that something that we can now do more remotely? Because that has been working really well. And from my team's perspective as well, I think being involved in the virtual career event was amazing. We do numerous careers events, go to schools, but actually doing it slightly differently, in a way that I didn't even know how it was going to work. It was brilliant. It was great. We had the questions that we would normally be asked to us, and it was still having that interaction, just in a different way. So I think moving forwards, yes, I think we're going to be looking more at technology from our perspective, and as I say, how we can do things more remotely. Obviously, patient care is never going to be completely remote. We need to have that hands-on interaction, and you know, that may not change as much, but as I say, certainly from the back office function perspective, I think we've had, you know, real different ways of working sort of brought to us because of the pandemic, and quite a lot of it I think will be positive.
I just want to say on behalf of everyone here at the Learn Live channel, a huge thank you to everyone at the NHS and our emergency services, and the work they've been doing to look after us during this difficult time. Now, don't forget to use the live chat facility to ask your questions, and check out the resources tab below this video player for more information. We'll see you back here at 1 PM to hear from DriveWorks on how they are working from home and embracing digital. Stay tuned and stay connected.
So the Pledge is a sort of organisation that tries to connect young people with businesses. So we work with schools and colleges and different organisations, so different charities and everything as well, to get young people engaged with us and into the workplace.
We got involved with the Pledge probably 3 or 4 years ago now. We went along to one of the first meetings, and it was actually really exciting. There were a lot of people there from local schools and local businesses. So from our perspective as an employer, it was great to sort of connect with local Macclesfield businesses, really.
The pledge has been able to give me more confidence in myself. I think I've really been able to get on well with my employer because I've seen other employers being engaged through the pledge.
I think it was in year 11, Trevor came in, did an assembly about the pledge there, and that's when I first kind of properly, I'd heard bits about it, but that's when I first properly got an idea of what it was, and it was like that connection between schools and the workplace and demonstrating you can do more than uni and all that kind of thing.
I think it's important just to let us know the opportunities that are out there, because it's really hard to kind of find everything, because UCAS has a website for universities and employers don't really have one website, so Pledge can kind of be that bridging the gap.
They've put us in contact with countless local schools and charities and organisations. They approach us constantly to get involved in careers workshops and events that they've set up. They allow for meaningful contact.
Employing young people really helps us in terms of the energy that they bring, fresh ideas and being very committed to the organisation, and also they've got that enthusiasm for training and development, which will really help us further down the line.
But it's what you need to, if you need young people and new talent, you've got to go out and get it, because the students and the children are struggling to come to you. So you've got to show them that you're approachable and that you can do something that sort of means something to them.